Welcome to another awesome edition of What the Flick. We're going to do 3 segments today. Number 1, Brooklyn's Finest, that's coming out. Number 2, Alice in Wonderland. And then third of all, Oscar predictions. Just a quick little preview for you. I have made up my mind about the Oscars and who should win, and I'm going to come strong with those opinions.
Hey.
And furthermore, in one of the reviews today, we're going to have a massive disagreement. All right, so everybody buckle up. Let's get started with Brooklyn's Finest. Oh, wait a minute. What the hell? I'm supposed to be a professional host, right? Matt Ashity from Rotten Tomatoes.
Thank you.
He's
Thank
here,
you
yes. Ben Mankiewicz from Turner Classic Movies. One wonders. Okay, about my state of professionalism. Anyway, so speaking of which, hey, look, Ben, let's start with Brooklyn's Finest. What happened there, Ben?
Directed by Antoine Fuqua, who brought us Training Day. I don't know about you guys. I liked Training Day. Gave us Denzel Washington's Oscar-winning performance. Did we like Training Day, Cenk?
Are you kidding me? I love Training Day.
Matt?
I enjoyed that movie.
This is really
You ever
three...
get your shit pushed in, Holmes?
This is the story, really 3 different stories that come together barely at the end of the film. I don't mean barely weekly. I mean there's not a great attempt to weave them together even.
They're near each other.
Yeah, they sort of skim each other at the end of the film. Ethan Hawke, Don Cheadle, and Richard Gere. It's the story of their 3 different police officers, and their stories sort of exist side by side in Brooklyn, obviously, and without giving too much away, it involves undercover cops, beat cops, and drug cops. And it is sort of the story, again, of those 3 different types of police officers and the enormous pressures that they face on the job. It's an attempt to bring us, I think, again, an attempt to bring us the real lives of police officers and the enormous stresses that they face in the different types of jobs that they face. It is an attempt, I think, to give us a real look at police officers.
All right, I'm coming strong right off the bat. We got controversy. We got disagreement on this one. I love this movie. It was my favorite movie this year. What are we, in February? Okay. It's going to go in my top 10. There's not going to be 10 movies that I like better than this. I thought it was, to use the worst cliche in the world, edge of my seat. But I was tense throughout the whole thing. I love the actors. I love Richard Gere being old school. Got Omar from The Wire in there. Wesley Snipes, old school for New Jack City kind of reference. He gets out of jail. It's as if he was a character from New Jack City and he'd gotten to jail and come back, if you ask me, okay? But I've come to find out that these guys didn't like it as much as I did, and that's outrageous. So I'm going to go to Matt.
Well, this movie is cliche-orama from the very beginning. The first moment that you see Richard Gere's character, he wakes up, pours himself scotch, and drinks that, and that's how he starts. I'm like, okay, there's old broken down cop cliche number 1, right? Then
True.
You've got,
I'll give it to you.
You've got Don Cheadle complaining about how his life is evaporated outside of his undercover work. His wife's divorced him while he's been gone. Okay, there's broken down cop cliche number 3. And you could
Where was number 2? Wait a minute. You skipped from 1 to 3
Number
there.
2 was Ethan Hawke, the guy who's got money problems, and is he going to try and steal money, or is he not, and is he going to get away with it? I mean, the cliches are flying fast and furious. I think that it's unfortunate that this script is such a mess, because to me, what makes the movie at all watchable is the performances of the actors. I think that Don Cheadle's great. It's a nice turn by Wesley Snipes, who's not chewing the scenery. He's kind of playing this understated character who, you start to feel for him a little bit for as little screen time as he gets. I'm not normally a fan of Ethan Hawke. I thought he was really good in this movie.
Yeah, you know what? I was never sold on Ethan Hawke until this movie, okay? And I've liked him in a bunch of movies, but I was never like, oh, Ethan Hawke's a great actor or even really a solidly good actor. But in this one, I thought he rocked. I
don't know. I mean, to me, the cardinal sin that this movie commits is that it's kind of just forgettable. Like,
really?
And one of the things is, I've realized, I've looked back at other movies that Anton Fuqua has done since Training Day. He did Bait, which I kind of enjoyed at the time, but nobody really remembers, the Jamie Foxx movie. He did King Arthur, which is kind of enjoyable, but it's, you look at his past movies, the last few movies he's done, it's like, oh, right, he did that one, and he's kind of just does these movies. And this is another one that it's like, okay, while you're watching it, it's all right. But 3 months later, are we going to remember? Am I going to remember that? Oh yeah, I saw Brooklyn's Finest. I loved it. No.
All right, Ben, break the tie. Go.
I think that Matt has come close to nailing it. I don't even know. I can't even say there's much debate here. I took such great notes on it that I can't find. That drives me freaking crazy. This is a great thing about the show that I love that I would be able to. I like the idea that I could say that on at the movies. I had such great notes. I don't know where I put them.
Producer.
There is such a gigantic, crushing ring. Rings don't crush. I also couldn't mix my metaphors at the movies. But there is a sort of there's a sort of it's just the sense of inauthenticity in this movie is overwhelming.
Wow, man, it's like we saw two different movies.
This movie looks like it was shot in Hollywood. Where was New York? Where was Brooklyn in this movie? Nothing. There wasn't a gritty moment in this movie. First of all,
no gritty moments. The whole movie was gritty.
There's no dirt. Brooklyn, there's nothing gritty about this movie.
I've never seen the projects look that clean.
I've never seen anything look so nice in this movie.
Go watch Clockers, right?
No,
Clockers is a movie that happens.
First of all,
no. But that's the thing. That would have been the cliche. Oh, Brooklyn's so dirty. And
It is dirty.
No. I've been to Brooklyn. I know how dirty it is, okay?
I've been to Brooklyn.
But it's about that dirty. It's not movie dirty, where in the movies there's the rats coming out of the gutters and stuff. No, it was fine.
No, it wasn't. It was not. It didn't look like Brooklyn. It didn't look like it was shot in Brooklyn. First of all, I read cop books. I read tons of them. I read cop books written by Joe Wamba, and I read cop books written by Michael Connelly, who covered cops. Now, those guys mainly write about Los Angeles in their defense, but those guys are cops and covered cops, and they know how cops talked. And I watched The Wire, and I watched NYPD Blue, who was executive producer is Bill Clark, who was an NYPD Blue cop. And we both love The Wire, those guys have police consultants. That's how cops talk. Richard Gere didn't sound like a police officer. Don Cheadle didn't sound like a police officer. Ethan Hawke didn't sound like a police officer. Not for 1 second did they sound like a police officer. Ethan Hawke's been stealing money the whole time. He shows up, he's stolen some more money, and then he opens the bag and he's like, it's not enough, it's not enough. You didn't look at it before for a second, and then he looks around downstairs in his laundry room like he doesn't know where to put it. Put it where you put the other money, okay? There's not, again, this ring of authenticity to it. Don Cheadle.
No, there's some, the stealing the money comes right in the beginning of the movie, so we're not giving anything away there. But there's some chance that was the first time he stole money in that first scene.
No.
Because
he's been stealing money for some time. That was my feeling about it, that he'd stolen it for some time. But okay, fine. Okay, it's the first time. I'll give you that one. That one's fine. Okay, but I get the feeling he's been stealing it for some time because he's, again, been saving up for the house. He still doesn't have enough.
All right, let me do one last thing with you guys here. Look, I thought that the characters were more complicated, right? Like, for example, Ethan Hawke, he's clearly a very bad guy, but he's not. But it's not so clear. As with all bad guys, he loves his family.
But it's the cliche version of complication. Like, okay, we're not going to just make it obvious that he's on the take, that he's stealing money. It's like, well, we got to give him it's script writing 101. It's like, let's give him a reason that he needs to steal money.
There's no real complication. I know he's a good guy. Of course he loves his wife, and his wife's like, you're a good man. I know he's a good man. No, he's stealing money from drug dealers to try and buy a house. He's only a good guy.
Right, and you don't need the whole speech that's like, well, we're worth more money to them dead than we are alive.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, all right,
No, I
if
like
somebody
that
says
speech.
that, they're going to die.
Too clear. No subtlety. None. No subtlety. And wait, I'm not done. And here's what else they get wrong. And again, am I wrong about Brooklyn? Maybe I'm wrong about Brooklyn. But here's what cops in New York call precincts. Not the 65th precinct. They call them the 6-5 and the 1-4 and the 2-3. And it's easy to get right, and they got it wrong. Consistently. They got everything wrong about cops. And the guy giving the speech at the beginning, the duty officer, his lame speech about we're here to help those who can't help themselves. Look, cops are good guys. I got it. They don't talk that way on a daily basis. And the young cops don't make fun of the 22-year veterans. Burnout. They revere the 22-year veterans consistently. So the cop dialogue.
That was the only part that.
No, they were all lame. Every conversation between every cop was lame.
Like the new cop, a new cop comes on and says, all my life, all I've wanted to do is be an officer. All right, well, you might as well mark that guy off the list. He's going to be dead by the end
it's
of
true.
the
It's
movie.
like a Star Trek guy wearing a red shirt.
Exactly.
Of course he was dead, and then all of a sudden, but the way they presented him dead is like they stick a flyer up. They're like, oh, this guy got killed. When a cop gets killed in the line of duty, they don't find out about it by posting it up. Everybody.
I'll
but
give
that's
you
it.
one
Hold on. One thing though, real quick, because that said, every conversation. I didn't. First of all, Don Cheadle, great actor. He's not hard enough to be a cop. I didn't believe he was a cop. There's a softness to Don Cheadle that I didn't believe he's an undercover.
Right,
cop.
I mean,
He's got
hanging out with
soft
the-
hands.
Don Cheadle is too soft and is such a great actor, but I don't believe him as a cop.
Right,
I
like
don't-
I'd buy Wesley Snipes coming in and
Yeah.
being a guy hanging out with drug dealers, right?
And I
but
bought-
Don Cheadle, a guy like that, you feel like would get eaten alive.
when he played a bad guy in Out of Sight, there was like this edge, this humor to him
Right.
that made it work. I didn't buy one cop conversation. The entire movie, not one, zero, 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 zero. So wildly inauthentic, horrible script, terrible. That said, I liked all the characters. So oddly, as the movie went along, I'm writing down, I don't believe anything, nothing. But you know what? I actually, by the time the movie's over, you know what? I sort of care what happens to these guys. So in the end, I don't really hate it. I don't believe it, and then this is inauthentic, but I do care. I'm interested to see how it turns out.
All right, so let me wrap things up. First of all, right when we thought Antoine Fuqua, the director, was going to hate this review more than anyone else, and then it turns out Don Cheadle hates it more than anyone else. Because he's like, soft hands? How did I get soft hands? All right, anyway.
Not hands, softness to his face.
I
is
know,
on
I
something.
know. I'm adding that. Look, I went nuts. I gave it a 9.2.
Oh,
okay.
geez,
All right.
you're
No,
ridiculous.
I don't
You're-
care. Oh, bring it.
I know
Bring it.
you don't care.
All right, hold on. What they're
This
not
skews
telling
your
you.
numbers for the rest of the year.
Okay, no. What they're not telling you is, look, there's another underlying theme in this movie, which is the little guy getting crushed. And it's an overwhelming sense throughout the movie that whether you're a cop or a robber, whether you're black or you're white, that things are gonna steamroll you anyway, right? And there's this fatalism to the movie, which I thought was a great theme. Yes, it's been done in movies before, but almost everything's been done in movies before. And to me, it felt really cool, and it was tense. And if I was going to say go to a movie at all this year, I'd say go to that one.
What's it at the tomato meter, Matt?
Tomato meter, it's in the 30s.
Yeah, 30.
So most of the critics are saying that it's not a good movie.
All right, so most of the critics
you
are
know,
wrong, it turns out. Okay, so what'd you give it, Matt?
Me personally, I give it a 5. I think that really the movie is kind of a mess. I think that by the end of it, it's surprising. It actually doesn't go the cliched direction I expected it to go.
Right.
And really, the performances to me are what save it.
Its
And-
performances are pretty good. You end up caring about the characters. Script blows. You care about the characters.
Right.
Average.
Right.
All right, and Ben, what'd you think?
5 gets better as it goes along. Care about the characters.
Okay, so we got a 5, a 5, and a 9.2. What does that average out to? You guys brought it down, or maybe I brought it up to a 6.
you brought
I
it up.
brought it
You brought it
up
up.
to a 6.4. Okay, so
Yeah.
there
So
it
there's my
goes.
5. Yeah. And the final is there we go. Yep. 6.4.
All right, so now it's in your hands. You go watch it and you tell us who was right and who was wrong.
You were wrong.
All right, we'll find out.